Designer Handbags is the title of the 2-episode Sewing with Nancy series featuring trendy sewing and embroidery techniques that result in very professional-looking bags with guest Eileen Roche. Combining Eileen's embroidery know-how and my sewing technique savvy, we will show you an out-of-the-box approach to making handbags. Here's a sneak peek of how to detail making an airborne bag, a pocket with a secret compartment. This technique is featured in the instructions that come with the CD and the embroidery, but let's show the viewers the secret compartment.
Nancy, I think this is your greatest invention in the last decade. It's a pocket on a tote bag, but when you open up the zipper that you've placed on the bottom, it actually becomes a sleeve that just slides right over the rolling compartment of your luggage.
That's the tote that Eileen made. This is the one that I made. She used ribbon along the bottom. I just used fabric trim. And I'm going to show you these step-by-steps. We're going to show you these step-by-steps using the Florida Tote template pattern. And that has a pocket shape that you trace in the middle of the center template. From the lower edge to the upper blue marking is the pattern shape for the pocket. Now, it has that ribbon trim or the fabric trim. Because of that, you have to shorten it a little bit. Otherwise, it would become too long. So I've started to create the sample and trimmed off 1.5 inches from the lower edge of the pocket. So I've started to trim this. And then you'd sew 1/4 inch seam allowance, turn it right side out. And this sample has been turned right side out. You see I put a little piping on the top. That's optional. And it's a tube. You have a tube of fabric so all the edges are complete. Now the zipper. Eileen, you and I both like to buy zippers whenever we see them on sale.
And when you buy it in 1 extra long length, it fits almost any project you're working on.
So we're going to shorten this. You can see the bar tack. That's where I'm going to shorten it. But you added ribbon on the sides. I didn't have any matching ribbon, so I just made some fabric trim just using a bias tape maker. You sew the trim on both sides.
To the zipper tape? Yeah. It's very pretty. Nice way to finish a zipper.
And then cut off the extra length of the zipper. And at the top where the tab is, you may want to just bar tack the top area together. Now, why don't you show how it's done on the pocket?
Well, once you add it to the pocket itself, you then place it wrong side of the pocket, the tube, to the right side of the bag. You would use your template to make sure that it's positioned in the right location. And once it is, you just top stitch it in this area, leaving the top open, and then, you know, again, it becomes a pocket, or when you open it up, it's a sleeve.
It works well for those of us who travel. It's a great lifesaver. But this is just one of the techniques that's in the package that contains the CD for all the embroideries. We'll show you some of the embroideries in just a minute. The instructions to create great designer bags. Now, this is a sewing technique, but the embroidery techniques are what we'll detail in the TV show.
And there's quite a few of them, Nancy. They're going to learn how to do corner trims, which accent the bottom of the bag.
All embroideries.
And then they'll add their strap with a strap connector, which is, you know, perfectly matched on all 4 ends of the strap. We even have a digital file for the tab, so that becomes completely symmetrical.
And we'll show you all the finishing details, adding linings, bindings, so that you know how to create a designer bag from start to finish. I hope you'll join us on Sewing with Nancy.